Hello. I wanted to talk a bit about the scandal that's been involving Oxfam. Oxfam is one of the UK's best known charities, and it was originally an acronym for Oxford Famine Relief. It was founded in about 1942 in Oxford, um, initially to provide relief for victims of a famine that was developing in Greece at that time from the chaos of World War II. In fact, often big charities start with a specific cause as opposed to being generic. Amnesty International started with a specific case as well. Now, in the over 70 years since then, Oxfam has been involved all over the world and, in fact, in the UK, which is something not everyone realizes. It's done work in the UK as well to help disadvantaged people in the UK. But it's been involved in work all over the world, very broad ranging. It pushed for the Millennium Development Goals to cancel debt to developing countries. It was heavily involved in the Make Poverty History campaign. It's been involved in a range of fundraising schemes and work on the field. And these allegations basically emerged from the aftermath of the devastating earthquake in Haiti in 2010. And they are that people employed by Oxfam hired prostitutes and were basically abusing their position. And since then, this was a few weeks ago, 26 new allegations have emerged. There's also been reports of misconduct on the field in Chad, in the Sahara region. So I don't think it would be right to say it's just one or two incidents. I do think there has been quite a serious problem, but would also be wrong, I think, to say it's widespread. Haiti and Chad are two countries in a world, and Oxfam does work around the world. Now, before anyone misunderstands, I don't want for a second anyone to believe that I'm downplaying the issues that have emerged here. I think it's a complete disgrace that anyone who is acting in the name of a charity, any charity, but particularly a prominent charity, who abuses their position, I think they're a complete disgrace. I mean, that is about as low as you can get. Um, and I also think it's made far worse by the fact that people in charge at the time basically covered it up. And that certainly made a bad situation even worse. And that was a very, that was a terrible decision. That was a that wasn't a mistake. That was a decision, and it was wrong. Um, so leading executives of Oxfam, including Mark Goldring, had to appear before MPs to answer to this, basically. And according to the Eye, during a grueling 2.5 hours of questioning by MPs on the Commons International Development Select Committee, that's a bit of a mouthful, a contrite Mr. Goldring admitted that 26 new cases had surfaced since the 9th of February. He said he could not divulge the full details of the incidents, but they were likely to range from the very serious to something that wasn't dealt with properly. Clearly, there's been a problem, um, and there's absolutely no justification for it. Um, and there's been a lot of apologies, and we need to learn the lessons and so on. I can understand cynicism. I can understand members of the public who have donated by direct debit or indeed public figures, celebrities who endorse Oxfam, feeling disappointed and outright angry. I can totally understand that. However, I am concerned and a bit frustrated by some of the backlash that's going on here. And this is why. In any large organisation employing tens of thousands of people, I mean, including all the volunteers, all the field aid workers, everyone, this is a big organisation. You are going to get some, let's say, bad apples. And that's not minimizing it as one or two cases. There has been too many cases. But I still think it is a very small minority compared to the thousands and thousands of people involved in this organization. Um, and what I take issue with is this idea of collective punishment. Now, Simon Pegg, the actor, made an interesting observation. A lot of celebrities have been dropping out of this, and I personally think that's it's a bit cynical. I think they're covering themselves. I mean, that's not to dismiss their involvement with the charity, but I think, frankly, they're covering their own backs a little bit. And I think it's a bit unfortunate. Simon Pegg made a good point. The comedy actor, he said that if you punish Oxfam as a charity, who does that hurt? It doesn't punish the corrupt employees of the past. It will end up impacting the people that Oxfam has been helping. And that's the point. Oxfam has done lots of good work that is verified, documented, proven. So I think there's a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction to this, especially from certain right-wing editorialists and MPs. I mean, Priti Patel, for example. I think there's a certain degree of triumphalism from people on the right who are skeptical of aid in general. And there's a little bit of, oh, I told you so, going on in their attitudes, which I don't like because I think it's a case of taking certainly a terrible revelation and using that to attack the charity in general. And I think it would be grossly unfair to punish Oxfam in general because of corruption in two locations at a particular time at from some individuals. And I'm not saying it was, I'm not saying it's a small thing. I'm really, really not. I'm just saying that if this totally overshadows all the good work that has been done over 70 years, that would be really unfortunate. Now, from other celebrities, there's this. I do think they're trying to wipe their hands of it, and that's a bit unfortunate because the people in charge of Oxfam now, as far as I know, Mark Goldring wasn't at the top at that time, so it would be unfair to vilify him personally and other people who, Simon Pegg made a good point. This wasn't Oxfam being corrupt. This was Oxfam being infiltrated by corrupt people. Now, what's the problem there? The problem is maybe the vetting should have been much better. And certainly the biggest mistake was when they did not report it as they should have at the time. That was that was more than a mistake. It was wrong. But I do have a problem with the triumphalism that's coming about here from people who think that the answer is just cut off all aid. That's it. And I disagree with that. I certainly think there should be debate around how aid is allocated. I certainly think there should definitely be debate around how aid is spent. And it is right that big charities have to answer to how they're spending people's well intentioned money. That's fair. But I don't like the way Oxfam is being vilified in general. I have a lot of respect for Oxfam. I still believe they do an enormous amount of good work, and I think it would be unfair to vilify the charity and many of the people involved because, in the end, you're not going to hurt those corrupt aid workers who took advantage of their situation. What you're going to do is hurt the millions of people whose lives have been improved by the work of Oxfam, building wells in their villages, providing safe drinking water, and a range of other things that are very important. So, yes, the criticism is justified, and I totally understand private citizens who are withdrawing their donations. But with celebrities, I do think it's a little bit of protecting themselves. It's a bit like, I mean, it's not really related, but it's a bit like the whole Me Too thing when actors are being punished based on allegations. Now, I'm not saying these things aren't true, but we have this expectation to expect organizations and individuals to be whiter than white, and any human any human frailties are immediately used to attack the organization in general. I think that's wrong, and it's something that needs to be challenged.